welcome back to my channel. It's Christian here, and you are tuned in for more of my 2 cents. All right, that's what we're doing. I'm sharing my opinion, my views, and my experiences on some topics that really do heavily affect the Black church or just church culture in general. I speak on an array of topics, but really it's topics that nobody else wants to talk about. We probably discuss them at our kitchen tables when we're out to eat or maybe in small group settings, but we never really compare notes and give a real balanced analysis on what we've experienced and how it has made us feel. Let's take the scriptures out of it and let's just use really good common sense. Be authentic, transparent, and let's relate here about some things that we've all dealt with, faced, or have had questions about. I always love to preface and give the disclaimer that this is a safe space, and I just want to, help other people to come to the realization that they are not crazy. They are not alone, and God still loves them, all right? And so if you can help me to do that by subscribing to the channel, clicking like, telling your friends and your family about me. Hey, even if you don't like it, I love it, and I would love to have your opinion about it. So let's jump into today's topic, all right? Should churches be franchised, all right? How does the Lord feel about multiple locations in his name? I am not here for it. I'm not. I don't want to do clickbait. I don't want to wait till I get to the end of the video to tell you. I don't like that. Me and my homegirls don't like that. It's upsetting us for real. Okay. Why are there 5 ministries under one umbrella, right? Now, I'm going to use a lot of business examples here because this is a business structure. This is how you scale a ministry. Come on in, pastors, if you want to know the secrets, because I'm about to give them to you from a business perspective and how you can implement them in your church, because that's literally what's happening anyway, all right? When you franchise a business, it is you paying for the brand, the building, the company, all of that. All right. That's a franchise. McDonald's has multiple millions of locations. I ain't gonna say millions. They got thousands, hundreds of thousands of locations, possibly. Whatever. McDonald's is franchised. All McDonald's are not owned by the same people. They're not. The GMs ain't even the owners. The owners can, if they got the guap, they can go out there and drop 150 a pot. Ooh, bars. I like to hit y'all with it early. So say you have a McDonald's, all right? Nope, let's use Chick-fil-A because the Lord moves in Chick-fil-A through the line and the employees, all right? And they're closed on Sunday. Come through #Kanye West. So Chick-fil-A will be our business model that we will use to compare how churches are literally franchising ministries to get that money. All right, okay. So you have Chick-fil-A. When I looked into a Chick-fil-A franchise, I think it was 2015-ish. They were going for, I think, $10,000 or $20,000 for the franchise, but that comes with a very long list of responsibilities and requirements. So you're required as the owner of the franchise location to work there. I think for the first 2 to 5 years, they do that. And when you franchise something, let me say, you control how it rolls. When you are the originator of a company and you franchise it out to multiple locations, branches, and allow other people to buy in, they have to follow whatever process, programs, systems that you set in place because it's a brand. You want consistency. So nobody can buy a Chick-fil-A and operate it the way they want to. Nobody can buy a Chick-fil-A and open it on Sunday. That is outside of the brand and what they represent and what they do. So you can't do that. You have to work within the guidelines that is set forth by the company. And with that being said, Chick-fil-A does a very heavy vetting process, as they should, because they've worked for their reputation and they can call the shots. Don't matter if you have the 20 or the 10K, you're not getting a Chick-fil-A today. Hey, bars. Okay. So Chick-fil-A requires the owner to work in the establishment for, I think, 2 to 5 years to make sure you're not just in it for a money grab. You actually putting skin in the game before you cash out. All right. Come through, Cash Money Crew. You cannot just buy Chick-fil-A and run off into the sunset. You have to put in the time. I appreciate that business model. No problem with me no problem with me. You should know how things operate if you're going to want ownership. So that really does help in that way of building a rapport with your staff and your team and really making sure you're connected and you have the heart for the business to succeed. The next thing, Chick-fil-A will get that, that franchise fee, and you are set up with everything you need. The vendors from the buns to the chicken and the pickles. All right. You learn all of the processes, all of the tricks of the trades, all of the secrets of the trade, because now you own this establishment and you need to have all of the information so that it is successful. There may be a franchise fee or a percentage of sales that the headquarters, that the main company receives from that. So I don't know, again, all of the inner workings of the franchise business model for Chick-fil-A, but I'm just giving you how this usually flows when franchises happen. You do have to pay in to the head company based off of revenue. So what you earn goes back to the top. All right. It just is what it is. And that's business. So tell me how nobody has a problem with churches. And I ain't talking about the chicken, even though I'm with the okra. Okay. How is it that nobody has a problem with church culture having multiple locations? Nobody's questioning that. Everybody thinks it's okay to have a Hillsong on every hill and beacon in the US and Australia. We think that's normal. That Hillsong wanted to start on one side of the world and then move it over to us. It was for more money. Now, some of y'all may not like this because you may be, visiting the Northeast campus or the West Coast campus or the East Coast campus of a ministry. That's fine if you go to one of those churches, but you have to understand that you're part of a scalable business model. And I'm going to tell you why and how. When churches decide to scale and to grow, it is usually because the main pastor, all right. And now who I want to use. Oh my goodness. I guess I can use Matthew Stevenson, right? Like I think I can. I don't really follow his ministry, but I've heard a lot about him and he has churches everywhere. He's, Anwa is all over. So we got Anwa, I think of Atlanta, Anwa of Chicago. I think he just moved to New York, or opening churches there. And we also have the Potter's House, right? So you have the Potter's House, Dallas, you have the Potter's House, Fort Worth, you have the Potter's House, oh man, I don't know if he has any West Coast locations, but Google it. So these are two pastors that we know that have franchise locations. It just is what it is. Now, I think it was Potter's House, Carolina or South Carolina, because some things had gone down with one of those pastors and his wives, and TD Jakes had to come through and sit him down. Some drama, but I wasn't involved, because I don't go to franchise locations. You have the church. It's a scalable business model, because what happens is the main pastor, let's say TD Jakes will see and know that his ministry is doing good. His brand, his vernacular, his exposure and his impact, his influence in the spiritual world is very heavy. And people will see that as an opportunity to branch out and to be effective in other spaces. Hey, I may not be able to go and preach at the California church, but I can find a good pastor that can. And then a franchise location is born. We're expanding the ministry. But the thing about it is that makes it so much of a business model is that now the new members are buying into the Potter's House brand from Fort Worth. Now, there is one here in Frisco that is led by Cheryl Brady, I believe that's her name. She is the leader of the one here in North Dallas, close by where we actually live, and I've drove past it several times. She is the pastor of that location. But guess what draws people to that church? She may have a love pull, but it's the fact that it's the Potter's House, which originated with TD Jakes. So what happens that I don't like about this is that you have one pastor who may have been called by God, who may have an anointing on their life. But then who calls these other pastors that they give franchise locations to? Like, how do we know they're really called and that their ministries or what they do or how they operate is really wholesome enough to be a leader over a large church? People that are going to be drawn to it immediately because it has your name as TD Jakes attached to it. It's happened so many times. We've heard about it in the news. We've seen it. Y'all, we have seen it. It breaks my heart to see people flock to churches because of who's attached to it by name. It never has anything to do with God. It's always the man or the woman that's in the pulpit that draws the people. That's a problem, but that's the business model. If you are charismatic, if you're handsome, attractive, you have a wife that's beautiful, you got a beautiful family, you're going to be like ripe for the picking to be chose to take on this new franchise, because we needed to do well. We don't want to open a new restaurant in the middle of a city that nobody knows who owns it, right? So same thing with church. I want another church. I want another Potter's house. So, hey, you got a lot of followers. You're charismatic. You're handsome. You're a great orator. Come on, you get this one. And that's literally what happens. You have to have drawing power. You have to have influence. Influencers are not only for social media people. Pastors, young ministers who want to be ordained so bad, just itching in a back child to get a church. They are putting that out there for a reason. They're starting off, want to be on all the flyers and be the hot new guy or the hot new gal with the message or a calling for a reason. Because the more you build your impact, your platform online, you have the ability to be seen by one of these pastors who's going to want to expand. And if they want to expand in a big metropolitan area, you've built a big enough following and reputation, you might be picked. It's giving Willy Wonka and Golden Ticket vibes, okay? But that doesn't come without a price. So let's get into the franchise fees, all right? You may not have to pay for the church to be built and all of that as a Chick-fil-A would in the earlier example that I gave. You may not have to pay in to get the church, but baby, trust and believe somebody's getting a payout from those tithes and offering baskets. These churches get a fee, or they do get tithes and offering from the other ministries, from the sister ministries or the sub ministries. All of the ministries that are underneath it do have to pay into the bigger pot. Don't think that they do not, because they do, because you're operating under the name of the main one. The Potter's House in Fort Worth may not need the money from the Potter's House in North Dallas, but as an operation, as a business, they take that money and they make sure that overall, the big church, the main attraction, which is Fort Worth, where TD Jakes be at every Sunday, that one gets a piece of whatever the other ones did. That's just a fact, because it's a business model. It's a business model. All of the tithes and offering or the money that church takes in does not just stay at that church. Somebody is overseeing it. It all flows. Sure, Brady ain't calling the shots financially. If TD Jakes probably has to approve a lot, or his team. Let's not think that the one that was called to lead that church is the only one leading that church. That's not what's happening. His hands are still on it. So that's why I don't like the franchise church business model. It is not authentic. There's no way of knowing if these pastors or these leaders are vetted. There's no way of knowing, because it is a job, but it's really not. There are probably not extensive background checks done. Some of them are probably getting better about that because of the scandals that are broken out, or the church pastors who leave the fold, or the member, or the leadership, the mentorship of it all. When some of those pastors break away, they take members with them, and it be drama and it be mess. We've heard those stories too. So it's all about business. It's all about being able to replicate a model somewhere else in a bigger city, another city, impactful. Oh, they got a good youth. You know, they check demographics. If y'all think that demographic studies are not done before churches go into certain areas, something wrong with you. This is business, you all. And while I would love to play games with you to think that it's all kingdom, it's not. It's coin. All right? It's kingdom coin because people want to make money. We have a good thing going here. Let's duplicate it there. Literally, prime example was watching the documentary on Hillsong on, I think it was Peacock or Discovery Plus. I watched the 3-part series on Hillsong. Literally, episode 1 broke it down, how Hillsong started. It wasn't even called Hillsong. It started out from it was a church, but the pastor, changed the name to Hillsong after the group, the band, the music, the praise and worship team was doing so well and becoming such a well-known national group for music and licensing out the music to other artists, gospel artists that wanted to sing their songs. They were over in Australia. But when they saw the millions that they were able to bring in from the music alone, that's when they duplicated that joint. That's when it was like, oh, let's call the church Hillsong. Because like, people know us for our music. We need to hitch our bandwagon to this brand. And they did. It's business. It ain't personal. It's business. It's not kingdom. It's coin. So when you understand that mindset, it doesn't make them bad people, but it really does. It should make you question motive. It should make you question influence. It should make you question how impactful do they actually care to be concerning the body of Christ? Do they care at all? Or is this only for personal gain? Because if you're the top creator of it and you get to stake your claim to being the one that made this pop off or happen, you're a celebrity. The end. Carl Lentz is known for what he is because he was one of the first churches or the first leaders of their stateside ministry. That was the first business model. That was the first franchise in the States, the New York location that Carl Lentz was the leader of. I'm sorry, not New York, LA. I think it was LA. Maybe it was New York, because I think it was New York, y'all. I don't know. I don't remember. I watched it like 2 weeks ago. But Carl Lentz was the first pastor that they gave a franchise to stateside. And they picked him on purpose. They picked him intentionally because of how he looked, the crowd he would draw, and the platform that he already had online. Now, if you guys think I'm lying, I do not have wings and I'm not flying. Go check the documentary out for yourselves. A lot of the core leadership from that group was a part of that documentary, and they said it out of their own mouths why Carl Lentz was picked and how much he got away with because of what he was bringing in to the church. He got away with a lot way before we found out about him and his mistress. He got away with a lot because of what he brought to the church, to the brand. So think about that. When you have churches that's now having VIP sections for celebrities that may come through, right? The pastor is coming through a back exit, being rushed out of an SUV like he's presidential, don't want to talk to you, don't have time to talk to you. Ain't never finna touch your hand and touch and agree on nothing because it's a business. So when we think about franchises and we think about the business model and being able to scale it, think about if God is truly in it and what do I get from this? You know, are you connected to the people? Do you really care about the souls, or do you just care about the seats being filled? It's not wrong for you to question that. You're not going to hell because you want to know. You are actually doing yourself a service to hold people accountable who are using the Lord in order to gain. It's not fair, it's not right, and it's not something that you should feel guilty about. So that's my 2 cents on franchise ministries, right? I do not have scriptural text again. This is common sense. I'm breaking it down from a business perspective and being a scalable business model that make people money. If you think that I'm lying, not a problem. If you think your church is not a part of it, cool. All right, go on. Go ahead, do what you've been doing. It's okay. And keep going to the church that you're in. But think about it from the perspective of, am I just another number or am I a member of the body? I need my arm. I need my wrists. I need my fingers. I need my lips. If any of these parts are missing, does the body still function the same without me? Or do they just find more people to hurt and they never care if I leave? All right. Okay, you guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Drop down in the comment section below and let me know. I would love to talk more about this. And hey, possibly you can give me some insight on what you think it is to have a franchise ministry. Because, you know, right now it's giving heavy Chick-fil-A energy, open on Sundays. Okay, all right, y'all, I will see you later. Take care, be safe, and we'll talk next time. Stick around for more of my 2 cents. Bye.